Hello everyone, happy Friday, and welcome back to the Funny Business Podcast. This is episode 30, the big 3-0, and hopefully you guys still enjoy this podcast because not many people like you after you're 30. Mike, to start the show today, that's a thing.
Really?
Don't give me that look. That's a thing. No, well, I think it's more so like people don't care about you when you're 30. Not that they don't like you. It's just like you turn 30, whatever. But for us, it means we're only getting better.
Absolutely.
But how I wanted to start the show today, it's been a crazy week, but we had news this past week that they are 90% done with a coronavirus vaccine.
Oh,
and that is something that we can all get behind.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, no matter what your political affiliation is, I think it's good to know that we're finally getting somewhere as far as the progress with this whole COVID-19, also known as the worst year ever, 2020, yep. All that stuff put together, just mingled in. But hey, the best thing that came out of it was the fact that we started a podcast 30 episodes ago, 30 weeks ago.
That's true. It is it's a crazy time. But, I mean, there's still a long ways for them to go. But the fact that they're close means there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, we're finally seeing maybe, I don't know, I'm not going to give a timeline. But
all right.
Could be a while, but at least we're close. We're making progress.
Yes, we are making progress, Matt, and we're certainly thinking of everyone who's involved in the preparation and execution of the vaccine. So,
absolutely. And that doesn't mean you can stop wearing your mask. Keep wearing your mask. Social distance, mask. As we'll talk about later in the show.
Yes, we will. But before we talk about that, Matt, we are going to talk about some fun entertainment topics for today. We do want to mention, for those who were listening last week's episode, we had a sponsor, which is the Sponsor Me Honey contest. We found out this past weekend, so not this upcoming weekend, this past weekend, obviously. We did not win. However, I think the biggest thing, Matt, and I don't want to speak for you, feel free to jump in, is we as a podcast where do I want to go with this? We're in line with a lot of these small podcasts that we were competing against. I don't think there was anything less or anything more. It's just that I think they really killed it with the creativity. I listened to the Winners podcast, and congratulations to them.
Yeah, no, it was a good opportunity for us, and the fact that we even were allowed to be in it is just kind of cool. And we'll see where it takes us in the future.
Yeah. I will still use honey to search the best
absolutely. No,
at checkout.
I do still love honey.
You never know what the road will take you down as far as any agreements, but
absolutely.
Matt, let's jump into today's entertainment topics. I know I pissed you off last week of talking about Bath and Body Works once again, about the holiday season with their new holiday lineup.
Which was just an unnecessary apology because I wasn't even mad about the first part. You just wanted to piss me off.
Yeah, I did.
I know you did.
But today we're getting in the holiday spirit again, apparently. So, of course, the Grinch out of the two is now bringing up another holiday segment in the Funny Business Podcast. This place called Marks and Spencer's. I believe, Matt, it's a foreign entity itself. It's not necessarily like grounded within the United States. It's more outward. They do a lot of pastries. It's like your typical Starbucks, I guess is the best way to compare it to. But what I've been seeing, and we'll get a little bit more into it, but what I want to address first is they released this cronut style pastry for the Christmas season. I think cronut is a mix between a croissant and a donut.
Okay, that's what I think. That's what I was going with.
Yeah, like a croissant.
We're not pastry experts.
You know we're not. Scone. Maybe it's a croissant, scone, and donut put together.
Yeah, I think it's close to a scone.
Let me look at this thing. Okay, it looks like a donut, but then it looks like it has the texture of either a scone or a croissant.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So, Matt, you would think, like I did last week in Bath and Body Works, that you would come up with some fabulous name for said product. Well, M&S, keep it short, decided to name this cronut Santa's Yumnut. Let me say that again. Santa's Yumnut. Matt, it's even to the point when they tweeted it that they actually gave the Yumnut a trademark symbol at the end of it.
No.
So you know it's pretty serious.
Why?
So they literally trademarked the word Santa's Yumnut.
Why? How? I want to know what the hell went on in this marketing meeting. Who? Not just who. What group of people? What group of people are like, you know what? Santa's Yumnut. That's the name. That's the one we're going with. Do people not think?
I mean, hey, we don't think when we do this podcast. We put topics together. We see what happens.
We at least put some thought into this. Should we say this? Should we not say this? Santa's Yumnut? Are you kidding me? What if you go to a party and your 5-year-old cousin, hey, what you eating? Oh, I'm eating Santa's Yumnut. Like, that's gonna be awkward. You want to have that conversation with your kid? Daddy, what's a Santa's Yumnut? Well, you see, son, that's not who. Come on.
Good old out of context. But however, Matt, looking into this story a little bit, M&S, Marks and Spencer has had a history with sort of this weird stuff.
Oh, God.
So this was reported by the HuffPost. During Valentine's Day, Matt, they actually offered a love sausage for Valentine's Day.
Interesting.
And then
that's
as well,
better than Santa's Yumnut.
Like, it's better.
Oh, no.
They added an Easter bunny doing yoga, I'm assuming for Easter, obviously, that some thought looked a little suggestive. I don't see photos, but I will only take the word based on the report.
Okay.
And my favorite one, there was an ad, not holiday related, put the D in bread.
Put the D in bread.
As in vitamin D. So vitamin D bread. Put the D in bread.
Interesting. I still can't wrap my head around Santa's Yumnut.
I'm just, maybe it's Santa's Yum Yum, but then like there's Yum Yum sauce and like.
My question is, what do they put in it? Like, are they putting in like walnuts?
Let me take a look. I just like it's.
I feel like it'd be fitting if they put in like walnuts or pecans or peanuts or something like that.
I'm getting a little scared here. Santa's Yumnut. Let's see what the Google
that's a hell of a Google search right there. That's one where your FBI agent's gonna be like, "What the hell is this guy looking up?"
Let's see here. Oh gosh, hopefully no videos come up. So again, it seems as though that they are used to, I guess, coming out with these rash names, I should say, as far as them being a part of it. But I think, to me, Matt, it looks, I mean, it's a donut. Like, I don't think you can get anything better than what it is. It's a donut, but they have a nice little icing on the top, so it's red icing, and it has a little Santa belt on the top.
I'm sure they do. Well, what do you expect with the name of Santa's Yumnut?
I really don't see any upfront, flavors or other things, but Twitter went off on this, if you couldn't imagine. They would. So some of the tweets coming up are saying they, quote, paid someone to come up with that name.
That's what I'm saying. Like, who thought that was a good idea?
How many folks did you run that name by, buddy? Somebody by the name of Scott Hanselman. It's the trademark for me.
The trademark part is weird. I don't think many people are going to be trying to steal Santa's Yumnut as a name.
Oh, God. Somebody else, Sailor Plutocracy. Wow, that's a name. The horny Santa people have logged on. It's weird, Matt.
Yeah, you think? I mean, I guess if these names work for them, like, go for it. But Santa's Yumnut, that one takes the cake.
I mean, we're looking at it this way, Matt, when we talk about Starbucks, and there's always this marketing ploy that everyone believes that Starbucks people misspell your name on purpose.
Okay.
So that way you could talk about it with other people. Have you ever heard about that?
I do.
Okay.
I do know that. And that's kind of smart. But, it's Santa's Yumnut.
I mean, you know what they say, Matt, in television, sex sells. So
yeah, but again, could you imagine like your 6-year-old daughter like writing like, "What do you want to eat today?" "Oh, I want a Santa's Yumnut."
I want a Yumnut.
That's just an awkward conversation to have with your kid. You got to think about the children in times like this.
But who? I mean, You could literally, Matt, you and I would come together and say, oh, that's a donut. I don't think we would say it's Santa's Yumnut. So unless you have people talking about it and going around and having a conversation about it, but I don't think, I do get the point of having kids around and Santa's Yumnut just going around. It's like,
I think, what's an appropriate item that would be called Santa's Yumnut? I don't think it's food.
I was gonna say nuts, but like salted nuts.
Yeah, I guess maybe it is. That would be appropriate name.
I'm throwing this up.
I don't think there is an appropriate item to be named Santa's Yumnut. That is awesome.
Yeah, people are absolutely going
nutty for it.
Yeah, you can't even say Merry Christmas anymore. Now you have to say Yumnut.
That's a decent point. Oh man!
And then literally at the end, Santa's Yumnut. I want to be good for Santa, but not like that.
No, absolutely
so
not.
It was. I saw this circulate a couple of TV stations, and I was like, you know what? Let's talk about Santa's Yumnut on the podcast today.
I mean, as weird as a name as it is, people are talking about it, and at the end of the day, any marketing is good marketing.
Right.
So I guess they win. Joke's on us, I guess.
Yeah, right. We're talking about it on the podcast. So if you are anywhere by Marks and Spencer, make sure you go grab yourself a little merry little Santa's Yumnut on the way there.
Just sounds wrong.
Oh, God. All right. Well, let's stop talking about Santa's Yumnut and move on to something a little bit more political. But Matt, moving on to the next topic, what I would talk about is something behind my field, obviously, but it is about the election, but not specifically Biden versus Trump. It's something that a well-known company did that may have, let's just say, didn't read the room. So this was reported by whatstrending.com. Gap. You ever been to Gap, Matt?
I don't know if I have ever been to Gap. I don't believe I have. Yeah. I don't really think I owned anything from Gap.
I remember used to going there as a kid. I hated it because there was one part in the mall and I would just walk past by it and I was like, oh, I don't want to go in because it's closed. Like, what's the fun of clothes as a kid? But
I don't know. I kind of like clothes shopping.
Well, now you do.
Oh, well, yeah. Oh, I know. As a kid, it sucked.
As a kid.
As a kid,
5
it was
years
the worst.
old.
Yeah, it was the worst. He just wanted to go to Toys R Us.
Right. So Gap decided. So election happened Tuesday, November 3rd. Yep. Gap immediately came out the next day. So we were still looking for the results of the election. November 4th, they tweeted, the one thing we know is that together we can move forward. And then they posted a sweatshirt that really was stitched together that had the Gap logo on the front, the popular Gap logo. One side was red, one side was blue. They immediately took it down for obvious reasons because totally not reading the room per se. No. And we didn't even have the results yet.
No.
As far as what they were saying, Chrissy Teigen actually jumped on it too.
I saw that.
She actually said, yay, we can just walk sideways depending on what the city we're in. So really not a whole lot of thought process going, not as well as Santa's Yumnut, but not a whole lot of process with this. I feel like the election is just a sour subject to talk about, no matter the political candidate, the results, anything. It's just not something that people just talk about often unless you're at Thanksgiving dinner with your family.
Right. I understand what they were trying to do, but again, it's one of those things where you got to look at what the times are and how Twitter is going and how Facebook is going, and maybe this is something that can wait and you can push it off and try to twist in a different way. Also, it was a fake sweatshirt. They weren't even selling it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of weird. But again, I understand what they're trying to do because at some point we do need unity, but maybe not post it on Twitter when we're still trying to find out who won. Probably not the best marketing strategy there.
Yeah, no, it really wasn't. I mean, the spokesperson for Gap was saying it was just too soon for this message. We remain optimistic that our country will come together to drive positive change for all. But at the same time, you should have. I mean, I remember seeing messages from these listservs and these Facebook groups that I'm a part of that's about higher ed marketing and all that stuff. And they're like, what are y'all doing for the next couple of days? We did not, Matt, and I think you were aware, besides what we did on Tuesday for election night, which was voting related, was we did not post Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and I think, no, we posted on Thursday, but it had nothing to do with anything that switched in political. It was actually promoting an event that was happening next week, but nothing in those 3 days. And
which is kind of what should happen in times like this. I mean, it's unfortunate for businesses and stuff, but some things take precedent in others, and this is kind of one of those scenarios.
Right. I mean, as far as the situation, Gap, of all brands, it shouldn't really participate in, I get the fact, like, I'll just, throwing out a couple, like the Black Lives Matter movement. Like, you had a lot of brands coming together, speaking out with statements. I felt like every day I got an email from brands that send me promotional material talking about their statement and their stance, which is great. Like, yeah, support, but something like this where there really isn't a true definite answer to, as far as politicians and politicking, I should say, really wasn't the best idea for them to say, as a clothing company, let's send it out and let's work from there. Let's promote it. Like that. It was truly a promotion. Like there was there was nothing where, it didn't support the brand. Like it wasn't truly supporting going out and vote. It was really just saying like, hey, like we hope. At us. Yeah. Look at us. Yeah. Who would have thought? Not them, obviously. So it's like,
and it's kind of funny how they deleted the tweet like right away. It's like, did you not think about this? Like, did you just kind of put this out there and then saw your reaction and was like, oh, maybe we messed up? Again, it's kind of like the Yumnuts. Did they not have a team here thinking like, all right, what are we going to post this week? Should we post this? Which the answer is no. And kind of came back to bite him in the ass.
Did I learned this in school, Matt, when I was an undergrad. Did you ever hear about the Twin Tower mattress sale?
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, so it was a local mattress firm in New York that, not like New York City, but like New York State.
Like Buffalo area, probably?
Yeah, right around there, like upstate New York. They were running a Twin Tower bed sale on 9/11.
Yikes. They should be fired.
They were.
Okay, good.
I'll show you the commercial later that they posted on their social media, and it just, totally not like. That's just bad.
Yeah, bad in general. Again, businesses need to read the room when something big is going on. Some things are bigger than promoting yourself. Probably don't do that.
Somebody said, now is really not the time, Gap, for this corporate Karen bullshit. A coup attempt is not a effing marketing opportunity to push product. Well, Chris, I agree with you.
Yeah, pretty much. The Karen part is a little iffy, but yeah, not the time to self-promote right now.
Yeah. So obviously, I think, Matt, for all of us, I think we were totally aware ourselves of like posting stuff like in a couple days, and like that was a challenge on top of us doing the podcast. Like, yes, we were trying to figure out how to run a promotion for us being in a contest, whereas we were in the middle of an election, and it was kind of crazy.
And we also only had like a day to post it, but I think that was the only thing we posted all week. So
right. I mean, yeah, and it wasn't anything that was like geared towards the election, but
exactly.
I feel like anybody who deletes a tweet that already is gaining enough traction just shows you didn't think that far.
Absolutely not. No, because a scenario like this, they should have kind of been aware of what was going to happen and the reaction they were going to get. Mm-hmm. So if you're not prepared to face the music, don't make it.
Yeah, don't. Yeah. If you can't handle the heat, stay out of the kitchen.
Exactly.
That's what I always say when I'm always mad at somebody.
Absolutely.
But yeah, hopefully we come to somewhat of a peaceful unity. I mean, I'm right. I'm okay with what Gap said in the spokesperson area, but not the
right.
tweet.
Right. I agree. The intent was probably good, but it didn't come out that way.
Right. Absolutely. So hopefully, like I said, we find some type of unity in the meantime. But what we can find some unity is our final topic for today, Matt. A couple episodes ago, if y'all remember, we did this random word generator. I never realized how fun that was going to be for us until we actually did the episode.
It was very fun.
It was very fun. So we brought it back for another round. And for the heck of it, why not? It's Friday. Let's have some fun. Let's have a couple brews, like just couple two tree, as they say in NEPA. But yeah, we're going to do it. For those who are listening for the first time for this random word generator, we are on randomwordgenerator.com. We are only given one word, and they are, I'm just looking for, they're nouns. They're actually, Matt, do we want to do nouns, verbs, or adjectives?
Let's do nouns.
All right.
I think nouns will be better.
All right. So we're going to do nouns, totally random. And by the word, we're going to base it off the context and the first thing that comes to head. So,
okay.
Matt, I don't have to ask any questions because you already know what to do. So
let's roll into it.
Gonna click a little bit. Let's play some spinning wheel music, Mike, the editor, Mike. That's me. The first word, Matt, is flight.
Flight. I don't know why flight or flight. Fight
Me too.
Or flight came
Stop
up. There
that.
we go. Yo. I think I have more flight than I do fight.
Yeah, I could say that too. I have more flight than I do fight.
Especially when it comes to like spiders. I'm out.
I will knock that.
I'm out.
Yeah, I feel like having that flight, I feel like at times you don't want to be confrontational, but at the same time, you really just don't want to cause more issues for yourself unless you're truly like behind it. Like I know, right. Matt, I know stories about you and you know stories about me where we just went head on and fought that situation because we just knew it wasn't right. But that's, wow. Fight or flight.
Have you ever been like thinking fight or flight, like in a physical sense? Have you ever been like close to like actually getting in a fight with someone? Like, I don't think I ever have. Like, I've been mad at someone, but never the fact that I was going to, like, Tom Johnson him right in the face.
I mean, yeah, not John O'Leary, man. Like,
Jack Johnson.
John Johnson.
Close enough.
Anchorman, everybody. Maturely, I should say, no. I've never been in a situation where, like, I'm sitting there, like, about to, like, knock somebody out.
Yeah.
But even as a kid, like, I don't think you'd be able to recognize that. Because there's times where I've gotten in confrontations when I was a kid at the playground. But
I think every kid does once in a while.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think I've been in that situation before.
No. I also wouldn't end well in that situation either. You and
I just popping somebody. All right, Matt, you ready for the next word?
Give it to me.
Difficulty.
I got nothing. You got anything?
You posted a meme today on your personal social media about thinking about grad school, actually doing grad school.
Oh yeah.
There's one
epic.
picture. It was like a girl daydreaming as like thinking of grad school. Yeah, thinking.
Yeah, I was like thinking about doing grad school, and she was all happy. And then the next picture was actually being in grad school, and she's crying as she's writing the paper.
Book.
Which I never, like, grad school didn't make me cry, but there was definitely times where it was like, I really don't want to do this right now. Like,
it was frustrating.
But it was frustrating. It is, especially when I was working and trying to fit in schoolwork in between my breaks and all that fun stuff. But
you're almost there.
It'll be worth it.
Yes.
I have a month left. It'll be worth it.
You'll be right there, man.
Then I'll be a master.
Yes.
And you will call me Master Matt.
No, I will not.
No, you will.
No. Hey, at least I have a mom and you don't.
I do have a mom. She's lovely.
That actually sounds really bad if people don't actually know the context.
You want to explain yourself before you get canceled?
Mom is a master's in organizational management. So the running joke was, "Oh, I'm getting a mom." And so Matt's getting his MBA.
Yes, I am.
So good for you, man. Good for you.
Thank
All right.
you.
Next word. Absolutely.
Is that the next word?
No.
Oh, you said next word. You said absolutely.
I was about to say attitude.
Okay, attitude. Okay. I feel like I don't know. What was I gonna say? You had anything?
There's like a quote that I'm like trying to think of, like your attitude leads to your altitude. Is that what it is?
I don't necessarily think so because what? I don't understand where that's going.
So like, the way your attitude is will perceive your altitude, which it means how high you will go.
Okay,
in life.
that makes sense. I was just thinking like Denver, Colorado has a high altitude. Like, wait, what? That's crazy. How far? Now we're just switching to altitude.
Yeah.
If you were in Denver, now the air is you're up there, so you can throw things farther.
You've been to Denver?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I know from people say like you can throw a football farther in Denver because the altitude's higher.
Okay.
How far do you think you could throw a baseball if you were in Denver?
Oh man, I can chuck a ball. Like
I could too.
PA.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'd probably say if.
I'm all about honesty.
Damn it, Siri.
Yeah, my Google. Hey Google, stop. We're doing a podcast.
When did you even say hey?
I don't even know.
When did you say hey? I'm not gonna say it.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I think I could chuck a baseball pretty far.
I would say maybe a football field and a half.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
I don't know about that.
I think maybe 2 football fields if I'm feeling it.
You think you could throw, Mike?
You ask my dad. I could chuck.
Mike, 2 football fields.
It's 200 yards.
Are you counting end zones? That's 240 yards. If there's 3 feet in a yard, you're talking you could throw a baseball 600 feet.
Yeah, I think I could do that. Listen,
What?
if my
Are you for real right now?
If my arm was warmed up, okay. Now,
hold on. You think you could throw a baseball 600 feet?
are we
Think
talking
about this.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking about it. I thought about it. Do you mean like beeline or like chucking? Because the thing that I have a weak point in is actually beelining like a
No, I'm
straight
talking
cutoff
chucking.
play.
Like it can get up in the air.
It can get up in the air.
Yeah.
I feel pretty confident.
600. Mike. 600. Think about
All
a
right.
baseball field. If you're standing at home plate, center field in Yankee Stadium, the wall is 408 feet. Yeah, think about this. Come on now. Let's back hold up.
Okay.
Back up there. 600. That was the most ridiculous statement I've ever heard in my. You want to backtrack that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's hear a more reasonable answer.
Maybe 1 football
Okay.
field.
There. That's okay. That's more reasonable. I think. I think I could probably go like. I don't know.
Oh my god, I'm such an idiot. Oh. I just realized
That was the most epic answer I could have ever imagined.
I just realized. I don't know what made me think about it. I thought 100 feet, not 100 yards.
Oh my gosh. I can't. I think I could probably go like 200 yards. No, I'm sorry, 200 feet. 200 feet.
I'm embarrassed.
Oh man, let's try to move on from that.
Okay, all right, ready?
Yeah.
Truth.
The
I
truth
can't
is,
handle
you
the
can't
truth.
throw a baseball 600 feet. Who did say that quote? You can't handle the truth. Who was that?
Oh shit. It was a movie.
Yeah.
Court played the Joker back when Batman was actually cool before with the whole like
He is
spandex.
still cool.
Jack Nicholson.
Was it him? Okay.
Yep, Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, could be wrong. I have no idea.
Nicholson.
But that's an iconic quote. Like you can't handle the truth.
You can't handle the truth. It is from A Few Good Men.
Is it Jack Nicholson?
Yeah, it's Jack Nicholson.
Okay.
Yep.
Iconic quote. One of the best ever.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can't handle the truth. Let's do 3 more.
Okay.
Error.
Like ERROR?
What's the other one?
Error? I thought you said error.
Oh, error. Like
Error.
yeah.
Okay.
I was like, there's another one.
Error. I thought we were going to have a big error in this podcast because as soon as we started this segment, my Adobe popped up and wanted to update.
Oh, no.
But my mic never stopped, so that's good. So
Yeah.
error avoided.
Yeah, error avoided.
you
Human error, that's another thing. People always like talk about technology, but then sometimes it's actually human error, and
Yes.
people don't like.
And they blame it on technology, like, oh, they must have messed up. And it's like, nope, you're the one that messed up.
You're the one that messed it up. You done messed up, Ron.
You don't now.
Yeah. All right. Second to last. Loss.
Did you ever watch that TV show?
That's lost with a T. I'm talking about
loss.
Loss.
Loss. You know who doesn't have loss?
Steelers, baby.
Yes, sir. I don't know why that was the first thing that popped in my mind.
Dude, hey, we're winners, man. We're still winners.
8-0,
I cannot
halfway
believe
there.
it. 8-0. We beat the Cowboys.
Barely. But we beat them.
We beat them. You know, it's always like that magic. Like, it's always,
It is.
you have that magic going on for you, and then sometimes you really have to put the skill in front of the magic to have it happen.
Yes. And since we're not going to talk about the Steelers real quick, it's finally feels like a Steelers season because Big Ben's injured.
Yeah.
And he just injured both his knees, and it's great.
God bless Ben.
Yeah, I love him.
Oh,
I absolutely love him.
All right. I'll do two more because this one is kind of a weird one, and I don't know how this will go.
Okay.
Procedure.
Pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maintenance.
Oh God.
Pass.
Yeah, pass.
Okay, pass. Okay. Singer.
Have you ever watched The Masked Singer?
I've seen a little bit of that.
People go crazy for that, but like, I mean, I never tuned in. I don't know if is it good? Do you like it?
I mean, I feel like they make it really dramatic. Like, they really, really do. Like, and it's really just a bunch of celebrities guessing who's under the mask singing.
That's my thing. Like, they actually guess it right sometimes. Like, how do they know? Do they just take a random guess, or like, does their performance kind of give an indication of who they are?
I forget who is on the panelists. I think it competes. Does it compete with The Voice, if I'm correct?
I don't know. I think Masked Singer's on Fox.
Yeah,
Voice is on NBC.
Yeah. So it competes with the masks. I mean, it competes with The Voice.
Okay.
So I think the reason with these panelists that are trying to guess the singer is that all of them have had years of experience in working with people and also studying other people in their roles.
Okay.
That could be a possibility. I could be totally wrong.
Makes sense. I know a lot of people like love the show. Maybe we'll tune in one day and
yeah, right. Look at a live reaction.
Live reaction.
All right, man. One more. Television.
I was gonna ask what your favorite show on television is, but like, do you have a favorite show on television right now?
I really don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't even know if I do. Like, I'll watch like something on Netflix or like The Mandalorian's cool right now, but like on actual TV, I couldn't tell you the last time I watched. Well, The Walking Dead. Okay, yeah, I take that back.
Cable. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, what came to mind for this? Did you have, when you were a little kid, I would say probably around kindergarten, did your parents have a satellite dish? Now, not like Dish Network where there's like a satellite, like a huge ass satellite in your backyard. And when you had to change the channels, it was on a blue screen. You had to change the channel and it would have to climb down because it was actually rotating the satellite.
I've never heard of that before.
Wow, yeah. So when I was a kid,
before.
Yeah, we had this huge satellite. Like, it was big. Like, it was, I mean, it wasn't like, NASA satellite.
Right.
Like, think about it. I'm trying to give you like Dish Network and all that, like DirecTV, those dishes.
Yeah.
Try thinking like 12 of those put together. And like, not like 12 separate dishes, but like the size of it is 12 separate dishes.
Okay.
And then what we had to do was when we wanted to go to a different channel, it would literally, you know how the phrase surfing channels?
Yeah.
So say you were on channel 60 and you had to get to channel 4, it would literally have to count down 59, 58, 57,
Oh my gosh.
56.
It's awful.
So like, when we had to like get ready for like an 8 o'clock show, like you had to be ready. If you were on channel 78, you literally had to be like 5 minutes ahead. So that way it would be able to climb down all the way down to channel 4 for your show.
That's awful. That's worse than like dial-up internet.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I had dial-up too.
Oh, God.
I mean, I was in the middle of nowhere
in
at
the
one point. I literally
boondocks.
live in the middle of nowhere at the
True.
time as a kid. So
True. That's insane.
Yeah, dude, yeah, memories. And then when we took it down, it was so cool because like
I bet it
my
was.
dad like just took it down. And then there's a nice little there was like a bird. It was like a John Deere birdhouse, like John Deere birdhouse where the swallows used to be at.
Nice.
Because we had a big field in front of it. So
You had to replace it with something.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I liked it. So
Nice.
Do you feel like one more or yeah?
If you want.
All right, one more. Employer.
Interesting. I'm gonna let you take this one.
No, we're gonna skip that.
Okay. Sounds good.
Oh, this one's a good one. Paper.
When's the last time you turned in an assignment
Oh my God,
On
Matt!
paper.
You're
on
paper?
On paper.
Last in November of 2019.
Really?
Yeah, because I had an in-person class.
Oh wow.
Right?
I don't think. Now I'm not talking about like typed on paper.
Written?
I'm like written on
Oh
paper.
my God.
Yeah. I don't think I did once in college.
No, I didn't at all in college.
I don't even know in high school. Maybe high school.
I didn't in high school.
Probably middle school.
I'd
Middle
say,
school
like,
or late elementary school.
I mean, there was journals in like 7th grade that you had to turn in, but I mean, I
Yeah,
guess
that's true for like a book report or something. Yeah,
Right.
something you actually had to write down with a pen
Right.
and paper.
Mm-hmm.
That's
those
crazy.
like those weird like notebooks, those black
Yes.
notebooks that
Yep.
I always hated writing in those
I did
for some
too. It
reason.
sucked. I hated them. Especially, well, you're a lefty, so you hated writing on the right side. I hated writing on the left side because like it was a whole mess.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yes.
Well, that concludes our random word generator for this episode. If you want it again, make sure you let us know on our social medias. When we come back, Matt has his sports topics. You don't want to miss it. Matt, I got to tell you, I am so happy we're continuing to make more episodes for our podcast.
You're so right, Mike. I really am enjoying hearing how awesome each episode is every week from everyone. It's so easy to do.
It is so easy, and we have Anchor, our sponsor for this episode, to thank for. Anchor is free to anyone that wants to start a podcast. It's easy for beginners with the creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. It also helps distribute our podcast so our listeners can tune in to their platform of choice, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more.
And Mike, I got to tell you, I was skeptical before, but we actually are making a profit off this podcast. We are still a small podcast, but it's nice to see the progress we have made with each episode with that money.
Yes, we are making it rain. Kind of. Anchor is everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's anchor.fm.
And who knows, you may start a podcast with your best friend.
That's right. Roommates for life.
Okay, let's slide into the sports segments for today. Before we get into the topics, I have a few things I want to touch on. Mike, I don't really have a who tweeted, but there's just a hysterical tweet.
Okay.
Do you want to try and guess?
Yeah, I'll go for it.
Okay. Do you want me to read the tweet? Because the context of the tweet is what I want to talk about. Do you have any? So it's college football related. Do you have any guess on what it could be college
Yeah,
football
of course,
related?
it's college football. Can you give me like where he or she stands? Like player,
who the person was?
player, commentator.
He is a reporter.
Is it Dave Portnoy?
It is not. It
Okay.
is Brett McMurphy, who I believe works
Yeah, whatever
for
about that.
the stadium now.
Okay.
So Wyoming and Louisiana were supposed to play a college football game. It got postponed and rescheduled. Got rescheduled for 2029.
Wait. What?
You heard me right. It is rescheduled
29.
for 2029, but don't worry. They are still going to play at Wyoming in 2026.
9 years later.
Correct. Yeah. So this happens in college football. Like teams will schedule like, I'll just throw two teams out there, like Notre Dame and Alabama. They will schedule a home and home series like 7 years in advance. So I actually think Notre Dame and Alabama might be playing a home and home series starting like 2024 at Notre Dame, and then 2025 they'll play at Alabama.
So it's a non-conference matchup?
It's a non-conference matchup.
So that's why, because they need to
Yes.
figure out.
Yes. So teams have their schedules placed in advance, like years in advance, just in case anything pops up. But
Yeah.
mostly non-conference. Conference games are the same. But yeah, I've never heard of a game getting rescheduled for 9 years later. That's bizarre.
Yeah, that is really interesting.
Very bizarre. Let's do some Thursday night football predictions. So we got back on the winning side with the Packers. This week is the Colts-Titans. I'm fairly positive the Titans are going to win, solely because Phillip Rivers, who's the quarterback for the Colts, is washed up, can't play. So I will say Titans. Colts have good defense. I'll say Titans 24, Colts 20. So close.
What's your record
on Thursday Night Football? I think I'm. Let's see. This is week 10.
Yeah.
So I think I'm 6-3.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. And then one other prediction I'm going to throw out there. It is the greatest week in golf. It is the Masters. Mike, have you seen photos of Augusta National this week?
I don't know, Matt. There's this weird guy who keeps retweeting all these photos on his Twitter timeline.
How, Augusta National in the fall is so damn sexy.
It looks good.
Oh, my gosh. It's awesome. So I have two predictions. One, Bryson DeChambeau.
I have
a new nickname for him.
Oh, no.
It's Big Bitch Bryson. First of all, he's cheating. He's using a 48-inch driver, which is the longest driver allowed by the PGA Tour because he wants to get more distance. So he's cheating. My prediction, he's not going to win.
Okay.
I'm going to say Justin Thomas is going to win.
Interesting.
Yes, Justin Thomas, who is best friends with Jordan Spieth, another golfer. Thomas is having a very good year. Tiger is the reigning champion. People forget. Which also means, I don't know if you know this, the reigning champion gets to pick the Masters dinner the night before.
The Masters dinner?
Yes, they have a big dinner with former champions, and I don't know if every player is involved, but the reigning champion, gets to pick the meal.
Dude, I would totally play for it just as I could have that honor.
Absolutely. It's so awesome. Tiger was talking today, reminiscing on 2019. He got choked up. I don't expect a good performance from Tiger, but if he wins, I'm all for it.
So you're saying they're all going to Hooters?
No.
Oh,
that's mean. Come on, he's past that.
No, that wasn't referring to Tiger Woods. I was more referring to just, we can pick anywhere. Okay, let's go to Hooters.
Well, no. They have a dinner there, but they get to pick what gets made.
Oh,
it's all homemade food.
So Hooters catering,
probably. Yeah, probably.
Moe's catering.
Probably. Could you imagine if what if we won an event and got to pick the menus? It's just get Moe's.
Just get Moe's catering. It's fine.
Chick-fil-A. We'll get some nugs. Chick-fil-A sauce. Oh, man. Let's move into the sports first topic today. We have a feel-good story to start off. We are going to start off with Chris Nikic, I believe is his last name. He was the first person ever to finish an Ironman race. And what's interesting about Nick is he has Down syndrome. So he was the first person ever with Down syndrome to finish the Ironman race. He had great times. I mean, he did a 2.4-mile swim, a 112-mile bike ride, and a 26.2-mile run. His official time was 16 hours and 46 minutes and 9 seconds. I couldn't even do this.
Yeah.
There's no way I could do this. I would pass out after the first 2-mile swim.
Sorry. No, I'm super happy that this story has been, showing up in timelines and news feeds, and reports and reporters have been taking this on because, I mean, I think specifically it's not sports related, but it really shows that there's no limitation for anybody, no matter what you have.
Yeah. Yep. And especially when it comes to sports, I mean, no matter what a person has that limits them in any way, they can really do anything. It's just an awesome feel-good story, and it's a story that we really need in 2020, something to get people to feel good about themselves and about society in general. So congrats, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, we are going to talk about the Clemson Notre Dame game this past weekend. It was an awesome game. Notre Dame looked like they were dead, and then they came back to tie it, and they won it in double overtime. So before we get to the big story after the game, I think the question has to be asked, how is Notre Dame going to blow this one? Because they always do. They always blow it.
I don't know,
man. They play Boston College this weekend at Boston College.
I wouldn't be able to tell you. I think as far as us, what we discussed last week of the Clemson quarterback.
Yes, Trevor Lawrence.
Yes,
who did not play.
Okay, so that could be a potential as far as why they didn't win.
Could be.
But also, too, we're talking about Trevor, going through his NFL draft process and whatnot. This may be something where he may consider actually going ahead or staying back. Like, really, I mean, I don't know. We aren't Trevor, so we got to see what exactly his comeuppance is about. But yeah, I have not heard Notre Dame actually do something phenomenal.
No.
In
crazy.
Any championship / playoff / anything that's special to them that would get recognized for that at all.
I think if our good friend Tyler knows, they always blow it somehow. It's not going to end pretty for them.
He has such an optimistic perspective on Notre
does.
Dame, but literally anytime they like suck, he's just like, yeah, not expecting, not surprised. Like,
Yeah, we were texting a lot throughout the game. Tyler, I'm rooting for you, buddy. I told him I'm now a Notre Dame fan the rest of the season because Penn State sucks.
You group chatted that, man.
Because Penn State sucks this season. They're awful. So Notre Dame and Clemson could play again, could play twice more. So they could play in the ACC championship game. And Trevor Lawrence, I think, is coming back this week. And he also came out and said, like, people kept asking him about the Jets thing. He's like, look, all options are on the table. I'm not talking about it the rest of the season, which I think was smart for him just to get it out of the way.
That's very fair.
The big news, Notre Dame students, after the big win. And in my mind, watching the double overtime game, I was like, if they win, this is like a historic game. Like, students usually storm the field. They're not going to storm the field now in a pandemic, are they? Well, they did, and it was a shit show. I mean, the whole field was just covered in green and navy blue shirts and all that fun stuff. I know you wanted to talk about this, so I'll let you go first.
Oddly enough, because it's college football, and I'm not really, besides our own alma mater, it's not really huge about that. But what was funny was I kept seeing a lot of the photos, the videos of that occurring, and the next day in a listserv that I belonged to, it said thoughts and prayers go out to the Notre Dame social media team. And I'm like, oh, so Reverend John Jenkins, the president of what I assume to be Notre Dame, released a statement to his students. First of all, just saying, as exciting as last night's victory against Clemson was, it immediately goes into, it was very disappointing to see evidence of widespread disregard for health safety protocols at many gatherings over the weekend. So what they did, Matt, and I don't know how much you read into the statement.
I did not.
So they did. Okay, so I'll give you the three because it kind of just is like, okay, like we're gonna tell you more information. So number one, because we are now even more concerned about the potential for contagion in your home communities as you prepare to travel home at the end of the semester, the university will place a registration hold on the record of any student who fails to appear for testing when asked to do so. A registration. So anybody who doesn't know about registration for classes, you cannot enroll in your fall or spring semester if you cannot register for classes. So that's like you're withholding a student's progression into their academic career based on this.
That's crazy.
Something about register classes. Okay. Furthermore, number two, you may not leave the South Bend area until you receive the results of your exit test. Again, should we discover that you left the area, you will place a registration hold on your record. So you can't get outside anywhere South Bend. You have to get tested. Number three, there will be a zero tolerance for any gatherings that do not comport with our health and safety guidelines on our off-campus. Those found responsible for holding such gatherings will face severe sanctions. So I get it. Right. It's just very crazy. They went to the point being like, we will withhold your registration and you will not be able to register for classes.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Also, like, where is security? Like, there's a lot of times students go to storm the field and they get stopped. Like, it's difficult, but it's possible to do. And there was video when the students were jumping like down the stands. There were like people like directing them where to go. Like, I don't know if it was like students like directing them, but it kind of looked like official people were like directing them, like, come down this way. Like, I think like they're not taking enough blame for this. I think it seems like they're putting all the blame on the students.
I think from context, Matt, and like being in higher ed, like anybody who storms that field should be somewhat negative. Like they should have taken a health check that they were okay to attend the football game. So probably in theory that everyone storming the field was okay, but we can't assume that because
everybody
the amount
on
of people
Twitter
that are there.
Everybody on Twitter was like, "Oh boy, Corona's gonna get them now."
Poor people.
It is a bad look.
Mm-hmm.
Bad look. So let's move on to the NBA. We have an official start date for the season. The Players Association has approved December 22nd as the new start date for the season. So we're going to have a crazy month. So next week is the NBA draft. That is the 18th. I believe it is Wednesday. Friday, the 20th, free agency starts. The 22nd, you can officially start signing new players, which players probably already know where they're going anyway. And then December 1st, training camp starts.
Hey.
So you could sign with a new team on the 22nd. And, was that 9 days later?
22nd.
8 days later?
Somewhere around there.
You could be at a training camp with a new team. That's
crazy.
That's insane. How do we feel about this? Is this too soon? I mean, the Lakers and Heat are only going to have 2 months off.
I saw the comparison. It's completely egregious in comparison to the teams that were in the playoffs amongst the Heat and the Lakers. There could be a way that you could, it'd be weird because I think, we'll talk about opening games or whatnot. You could potentially not have a primetime game with the Heat or Lakers.
Right.
You could have a primetime for the Lakers, but they could be playing, the Heat, for example, they could be playing against the Washington Wizards, and the Lakers can be playing against trying to think of a bad team in the West.
Sacramento Kings.
You could have those comparisons and yet still have the revenue coming in based on the attendance virtually or in person. But yeah, I don't agree with it, but at the same time, they have to get moving or else they'll, push it to whenever. That's, probably till 2021 if they really want to give the teams off. But
right. I think
it's weird.
There's a lot of factors. The league said if they waited till January, they would have lost another $1 billion. I don't know how that comes into play.
It's crazy.
But you also have to think there's 10 teams that haven't played since March. So if you wait till January, that's almost a full year where they haven't played a game. And then at some point, you do have to set a certain schedule where you don't, for 2021-22 season. You have to kind of get back on track where each season starts at the same time. So it's only a 72-game season, so there's 10 less games. They're going to try and reduce travel by 20%, I saw. But I think it's also an opportunity for, I'm going to take the Suns, for example.
Yeah.
If the Suns get off to a really good start, and let's say, I don't know, Utah, who is a 6 seed, or Dallas, or Memphis, or Portland, they got off the bad starts. There's opportunities for these young teams. If they start off good and continue to play good, they can sneak their way into the playoffs.
Yeah,
so it's going to be an interesting dynamic.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that dynamic, like you were saying, having somewhat of a change with our young teams, like your Suns, for example, that do well and they're in a ranking that is actually pretty much formidable within their playoff season.
Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And then you got guys like LeBron saying, I'm not going to be playing much in the beginning of the season, which that's a whole other issue in itself. But one thing that everyone can agree on is it's going to be awesome to have NBA Christmas basketball.
Yes.
People are already debating who they want on the Christmas schedule. So I have created the 5-game schedule, and I want to run it by you. Before I do, is there any game that you would like to see on Christmas?
Wow.
Now, regardless of travel, I made my schedule regardless of how far the teams are.
It's like asking Santa what you want for Christmas.
Yeah. Any one game that sticks out in particular, 1 or 2 games?
I would really, I know it's totally scenarios are scenarios, but I would have really liked to see the Celtics versus the Lakers.
Okay.
Because obviously with that comparison, was it? Wow, now I'm literally, the season was a couple months ago. It was the Heat versus the Celtics for the Eastern Conference Final, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I would have liked to see that. I would have wouldn't have mind seeing what that challenge was for the Lakers. Now, obviously, you can't assume it on one game,
Right.
but having that, like, I would have been like, okay, like, this would have been interesting, even though it was still interesting with the Heat.
I like it. All right, so let's get into the schedule that I have. First up, the 12 o'clock game. The past 2 or 3 years, this has been the Sixers. I don't even have the Sixers on here because they're irrelevant. They just are. Like, their roster, they're not going to win. The Bucks at the Celtics. So,
Yeah.
Giannis in Boston. That'd be pretty good. That'd be a hell of a first game.
That would be.
Yes. The 2:30 game. Rockets at the Dallas Mavericks.
Now that I would like to see.
Yeah, that one, I originally had this one like later on, but I made some changes. One, you get Luka on his first Christmas Day game. And then James Harden's electric every time he steps on the floor. The 5 o'clock or 5:30 game, I have a rematch of the NBA Finals, Heat at the Lakers. I feel like they always do a Finals rematch, so why not?
Mm-hmm.
This next one's the most intriguing of them all. 8 o'clock game, Nets at the Warriors.
Oh.
Kevin Durant goes back to Golden State with the return of Steph and Klay Thompson. That's electric. That's must-see TV. And Kyrie, must-see TV. And then to end the matchup, or the day, I have maybe the best playoff matchup from the bubble, Clippers at the Nuggets.
Yeah, we got to see that again.
That would be epic.
This is like asking again.
I originally had the Jazz and the Nuggets because that was a good series too. But then nothing would be better than the Clippers Nuggets.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a pretty solid Christmas Day schedule.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yes. All right. To end the sports segments for today, we have another list. This is a sports-related list, obviously. So I believe it was Barstool Sports tweeted a photo out, and it got a lot of engagements of what's the best sound in sports. So what we're going to do today is give our individual top 5 best sounds in sports. Could be anything, any sport possible. So, Mike, I will let you go first. It's pretty. I don't think we have to explain it other than best sound in sports. So go ahead. You're number 5.
So I kind of prefaced this a little bit before we started the show that this one's a weird one.
Okay.
It's not satisfying when this happens, but it's satisfying when you hear the sound. My number 5 choice is a soccer ball hitting the crossbar.
Okay.
It's like, Matt and I have been doing some Rocket League lately.
We have.
We've been kicking ass. We've been really kicking ass.
Yeah.
We actually have a squad. It's FBiz or Funny Business if you want to join. We got some of the colors of like our suitcase. Anyway, but yeah, like we've had, I was a soccer player back in high school, but we used to have contests of hitting the crossbar. Like that was your goal, was hitting the ball at the crossbar. And especially when it's a zinger. Like hitting that, like bouncing it, like it has this nice little ting from the metal, but obviously in the game you hate it because you were only so close to getting in the net.
It's a bad feeling if you're the one that kicked it. That's a good choice.
Yeah. What's your 5?
My number 5, I went with one of my favorite sports, golf. I did the sound of a great drive. Like when you hit your driver and it's a combination of hitting the drive straight and just the sound of the driver cracking. Mm-hmm. Nothing better. I'll go with my number 4. I did the sound of a hockey puck hitting the goalpost.
Oh,
that loud
that's interesting.
Ding, the loud noise that it makes. And it's also awesome because as soon as you hear that, you're like, oh, like everybody reacts like, it's kind of similar to like the soccer thing. Everybody's going to make a loud reaction. But when you're in a hockey arena and you hear that sound, oh my gosh, there's nothing better.
Well, I'm still on the ice for number 4. But instead, it's the air horn when the goal is scored in hockey.
Oh, that's a good one.
The goosebumps that I get when there's not like one single person that's not excited over a goal in hockey. Like,
yes.
And especially the air horn too, like completely drowns out everything else, so you really can't hear anything.
Oh, you can't hear shit.
Just the fact of having that, like, I'd say hockey is so underrated to actually going to hockey. Like Jenna and I loved going to hockey. And even when we held an alumni event, like we were so excited to be at this hockey event. And it was cool, but the scoring and the air horns are great.
Hockey is like a top 3 sport to see live.
Yeah.
You're number 3.
So my number 3, it's a little weird.
Okay.
is a basketball dribbling on the hardwood.
Okay, that's a good sound.
Brings a lot of memories, whether that's from coaching. Did I tell you I coached for 10 years?
I did not know that.
It's a weird fact, but I coached for
Did
10
not
years,
know that.
believe it or not.
Would you
I
coach like
started
little kids?
Yeah, I started 6th grade, and I taught kindergartners because it was kind of weird, like teaching 4th and 5th graders because of the age difference. But
Right.
teaching kindergartners how to dribble the ball and brings back memories when my father and my family, I should say, used to run our Saturday basketball program. And when everybody was getting ready for the session, it would literally be bouncing around the ball, shooting the ball, and you have all these kids that from skill sets of super great to can't even bounce the ball right with their hand.
But they're so cute when they're so small.
so
They don't know how to do it.
But yeah, like the dribbling, it brings back good memories, and especially
that's a
when
good
somebody knows how to dribble too. Like that's pretty sick too.
That's a good one. My number 3, I went baseball.
Okay.
The crack of the bat. Nothing better than a good crack of the bat. Just a monster home run or a ball in the gap. I'm not going to give away. The crack of the bat, like, especially when you're the one that hit it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you hear the crack of the bat. Kind of like same thing with hitting a great drive.
I don't even think you hear it when you are the one who's cracking it.
I feel like you
so
hear it, but you don't
focused.
notice it as much.
Right.
Yeah. But it's a great sound. My number 2, I went basketball. I think this is a pretty obvious great sound. The sound of the ball going through the hoop.
Yeah, I have that
Hitting
as 2.
nothing but net. You had that at number 2?
I had number 2.
It's so soothing.
Yeah, there's nothing better. And what's even better is complete dead silence. Like you can hear it a little bit when it comes to like real basketball games, but if it's just you on the court and you're just swish, like that has some good sound to it.
It makes you feel like you just made like an NBA 3-pointer to win the finals. Like it feels awesome.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I will go with my number 1.
Go ahead.
It is the crack of a baseball bat.
Okay.
For those who don't know, my family runs a very deep line of playing baseball, softball more in particular for my mother. But 2 weekends ago, Trent was in a baseball tournament, and my mom sent me a video. And holy Moses.
Yeah.
He
murdered that thing.
He murdered the ball. If you guys have seen my brother Trent hit a baseball, wow. And I didn't even care about the distance travel. It was just the sound of the bat colliding with the ball. And it just, gave me chills. I was like, holy.
It was a great video, too, because as soon as he hit it, everyone was like, oh. Like, it is awesome. Good job, Trent.
Yes.
My number 1 is also baseball.
Okay.
The pop of the glove.
Like a catcher?
Yeah, like when a catcher catches like a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. I don't know why. I love it more than the crack of the bat. It's just so soothing.
Have you heard like about reaction times as far as catchers? Like how much of a reaction time they have to catch the ball?
Oh, they have like no time.
No time.
Yeah, even hitting, you have
time.
like 0.1 seconds to decide if you're going to swing or not. It's insane. But like, it's also a good feeling like when you catch the ball and you hear the pop and you catch it. It's just so soothing. I don't know what it is. I just love it.
Yeah. No, I mean I could second that with you as far as even playing catch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You could totally make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have a favorite sound in sports that we did not mention, let us know in the comments. That concludes today's sports segments. It is time for Say What. You all know how this goes. So this is our safe space just to get out anything we want to get out. Mike, I believe I went first last time, so I'll throw it to you. What's your first one?
Yeah, it's funny because Matt still says spicy takes, and I'm like, is that the safe space one?
No,
he goes, yeah, it's safe space. I'm like, oh, okay. So my first one for today, and Say What, is, and this is what's happened the past 2 weeks, but overall,
okay,
I am sick and tired of seeing people spreading information that's not true on social media.
It does suck.
So let me give you some context. Photos that are manipulated, videos that are manipulated, and everybody's gonna assume, Mike, you're talking about the election. Okay, maybe that's part of it, but I think we've been facing this for so long, And the craziest thing is that it's so new to everyone. Like, we're getting such an influx of misinformation and people creating accounts just for the purpose of putting information together. And the biggest thing is, yeah, freedom of speech is great, but when is it actually going to hurt somebody as far as the information itself? A couple of months ago, I posted like a thing about World Social Media Day as a holiday. And literally one of the things is, do your research before posting it. Do your research before sharing it. And yeah, that's all I have to say about, spreading misinformation. Make sure you research it, take a look at it, use other sources, take a look at it, see if it's true. And if it's true, you're allowed to reshare it.
Especially like sometimes like someone will share something as like a joke, but like you don't know it's a joke.
No, it's not a joke. It's a joke. It's a got my wine opener. It's becoming more damaging and not a joke.
Right. But like what I'm saying is sometimes someone will see something and like they'll share it thinking it's gonna come off as a joke and it doesn't. Then it's a whole big thing.
Right. No, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. It's becoming more damaging because you and I could be scrolling through and be like, "Oh, would you look at that?" And then look at it, and us are like, "Really? Like that's what's happening?" But really, it's not.
It's a good one. Also, breaking news. Shout out Donnie Baseball. Don Mattingly just won National League Manager of the Year.
Nice.
Yes. So good for him with the Marlins.
Good for him.
My first one is completely on the other side of where you're going. It's because I have two stupid ones for today.
Okay.
Peas are gross. Like peas are the worst vegetable on the planet. Like I've hated peas since I was a little kid, and I can eat them if they're mixed in with something, but like I won't eat a spoonful of peas. I won't do it. They suck. They're disgusting. They are the worst vegetable. They taste awful. Now I will do snow peas. Won't do regular peas.
What about Oh no! I'm thinking of different. I'm thinking of the whole bean family, like green beans.
I'll eat green beans. I'll eat string beans. What was that?
Edamame.
I'm okay on edamame.
Okay.
Yeah, lima beans are a no. But peas, peas suck. Don't give me a spoonful of peas. I'm not gonna eat it.
Oh gosh. Well, we all know what to do as far as when Matt comes to my house. Give him a spoonful of peas, saying you have to eat it.
I won't do it. Won't do it. I literally couldn't tell you the last time I had a spoonful of peas. Like I don't eat them.
Yeah. Oh well, I'm sorry about that. I don't know. I feel like if it's mixed in, I'm like okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's like a mixed vegetable or like if there's like a pasta with some peas or something like that.
There's so many beans that go around. I'm kind of like, is that what it is? I got, as dumb as this is, Jenna always makes fun of me. I got, oh God, what was it? Quinoa confused with, what were the beans? I forget what they were.
Yeah, I don't know. Quinoa's okay.
I'm starting to like quinoa.
Yeah, quinoa's not too bad. Not too bad.
Of beans.
Types of beans. You got green beans, lima beans, peas, which are gross, as we just established. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm at a loss.
I'm at a loss too. It's some type of beans. Was it lima beans? I don't know. Jenna's gonna be like, Mike, it was this.
You'll know in the next episode.
Oh yeah, I will know in the next episode and report back to you.
Your second one.
Yeah, this is more so me and my soapbox for anything. And you know about this, Matt. I hate when businesses don't focus on a digital presence.
Okay.
So to give the example, Matt experienced this when he was over. We were trying to go to a particular restaurant.
Oh, yes. Now I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I called because I thought, that's probably the most traditional thing to do. I wanted to see because, the whole pandemic, some people take reservations, some people take walk-ins, whatever. So I tried calling them. They told me to hold. I said, okay. And then it came back on the phone. They were like, please hold. And I'm like, okay. So then I had it on mute. And then I Facebook messaged their Facebook page thinking, okay, like maybe somebody's running their social media or at least had the phone on them that has it.
You would think.
You would think. I think it was around 7 o'clock on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
I did not get a response till 10 a.m. Wednesday morning. And then the person was still on hold 5 minutes after they told me to be on hold. I hung up and I'm like, Matt, we're going to this different restaurant.
Yep.
Like, I called them. They picked up immediately. I said, we'll see you soon. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. Does everybody not have the budget for somebody to just strictly run social media? Absolutely. But there needs to be some sort of focus, and there needs to be some sort of protocol that people could follow.
Well, and even like you figure most times if like when you call the front desk, I'll just say, they usually have a computer. You can have the computer up and just have someone, hey, if there's any questions that come up on Facebook, if you don't know the answer, let's find someone that does.
And you could do automatic replies too on Facebook. So I don't see, they have people like me that you could pay good money for to show you and be able to enhance your business.
There you go. That's how it's done.
All right, I'm ready for your freaking ridiculous second one.
This one's not super ridiculous, but it's definitely a hot take. I did not hate the last season of Game of Thrones. So I know you can't really relate to this. People hated the last season of Game of Thrones, and I did not. So there's a few reasons.
Okay.
One, was Bran a good fit for king? Did I like Bran ending up being king of the Seven Kingdoms? No. Was it the logical choice? Sadly, yes. So to start off the series, you had Ned Stark, who was the hand of the king to Robert Baratheon. When Robert was dying, he said he wanted Ned to be king because his son was a bastard. Ned was then killed, and then we were stuck with Joffrey for 2 seasons. So let's say it should have been Ned. When Ned would have passed away, it would have been his son Robb, who also died, as many people did in the show. Then it would have went to Jon. Jon is also a bastard. So I could be wrong, but I don't believe people would have been too happy with a bastard being king of the Seven Kingdoms. Then it would have went to Sansa, who didn't want it. So it was going to fall to Bran anyway. Listen, Bran sucks. He couldn't speak without reciting a poem the last 2 seasons, whatever. It was inevitable that Bran was going to be king. And it did suck that they sent Jon over the wall, but that's what Jon wanted. And it did suck that Arya went west. That's what Arya wanted. And yeah, the Stark children got broken up. Oh well. Like just because you don't like the outcome of a show doesn't mean the show was not good. It was still it was a decent season.
I feel like to put in my 2 cents, I heard a lot of the production was rushed.
It was because they also had like 2 years to do it.
You saw a lot of things like a Starbucks cup, a water bottle. Like you saw those little things that you're kind of like, okay, like they should have been able to get rid of it. And, you know, the story was rushed apparently. And
it was.
Stuff.
I mean, the Battle of Winterfell did go in like an episode that could have went 2. And then they did kind of rush into the final battle. That part I understand. But again, it like for people say like that season ruined the show for them. Like I don't get how just because you didn't like one season it ruined the show. And I understand it was the final season, but like it's still maybe my favorite show. Like the seasons 1 through 7 were awesome.
Yeah, I didn't watch Game of Thrones, so I can't really put in my opinion there. Yeah, when I have time.
It was epic. It was epic.
I just feel like there's a lot of criticism when it comes to big series like that. Like Game of Thrones is one. Star Wars for sure, because you had a lot of people that were saying they hated the sequels, but then you had people that hated the prequels, and then you had the originals that were like, come on, like this is the best 3 episodes. And
right.
I just feel like you have the run-of-the-mill individuals who are really, you know, against or for said series, and you're just one of those people that you said it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. And I mean, George R.R. Martin didn't finish the books, so like what did you expect the producers to think exactly what he was thinking? Like,
right.
Come on.
Yeah. I mean, your point's valid.
I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for it, but I'm ready for it.
Not as much as the hate as Chris soft bacon.
Yeah, I got a lot for that soft bacon. That one was not pretty.
Yikes.
Yeah. And also when I called Batman not a superhero.
Gosh.
I took a lot of shit for that, which I stand by. He's not a superhero.
I think you're fine with this Game of Thrones. That one, not so much.
I don't know.
Anyway. Oh, man. I'm always in a laughing mood at the end of every episode. But anyway, if you are looking for some fun stuff, make sure you follow our social medias, Funny Business Entertainment on Facebook, Instagram, and Funny Business EN on Twitter. We do have a YouTube channel, so make sure if you want to listen to these in the video format, there's a lot of weird things that happen in between that you really don't see in the audio format. So if you need a recap, feel free to do it then. We try to live stream because that's just us. We haven't had the time yet. But to me, I think we actually are able to now based on some of the things that we've been doing. I mean, I finally got my microphone to work, you got your setup ready to go. Matt's getting his PS5 soon, so
not promised, but hopefully.
We'll see that in 2021, so be ready for it.
Most likely.
Maybe. And just thank you for listening. And Matt, what do you got?
What do you think of my shirt?
I love it. It's Reptar.
Yep. For those who aren't watching, I got a Reptar shirt on today. It's like a collared shirt, not really a t-shirt, but thought I'd dress up a little bit for the pod today.
Yeah, I decided to go with a t-shirt. But however, guys, got a new chair if you didn't see it.
Yeah,
new
gamer chair.
Gamer chair.
Gamer chair alert.
I have never realized how much I've cheated on my body for a chair that was in this room beforehand. Matt's seen the chair. This chair is special to me. It's still in my living room because I can't toss it.
Right.
It's literally a chair that I had in the TV studio of my high school. It just memories. Apparently, I guess it was uncomfortable because that's what made me work more and be able to work harder. But man, I'm a full-time employee. I can sit in a computer chair and dude, this is comfortable.
I'm definitely getting one when I get my own place. That's
dude,
a fact.
When you move in with me.
Yes.
Sorry, Jenna.
Even better.
Well, until next time, guys, we'll see you all in the next episode.
Stay safe, everyone. We also got our highlight for the week now.
About me and my 600 feet.
That was epic. Oh. All right, let me delete Santa's Yumnuts. It just sounded wrong. Oh my God.